So today I'm going to be talking about the Valois Dynasty. Well, the Valois Dynasty was this royal house that ruled over France from 1328 to 1589. So 250 years, not too bad, you know? Well, it ruled the nation from the end of the feudal period right into the early modern age. And the kings it did the work unifying France and centralizing royal power, which had begun under their predecessors, the Capetian dynasty. Well, the House of Valois itself, it was a branch of this Capetian family, because it was descended from Charles of Valois, whose Capetian father, King Philip III, awarded him the county of Valois in 1285. Yeah. So they are connected to the royal family, to the Capetian family, but if not exactly directly, because otherwise it would just be continuing the Capetian family. They're just because he was awarded the county of Valois, he was named. He started the Valois family, and as you can see, it's not the same. It wasn't the same year that the Valois came into power. The Valois started governing over France in 1328, but this county was awarded to Charles, in 1285. Well, Charles had a son and a successor named Philip, Count of Valois, who eventually became King of France and therefore is known as Philip VI in 1328. Officially beginning the Valois Dynasty. So it wasn't Charles who officially started this Valois Dynasty, it was his son Philip VI. Well, it had three lines. The first one, the direct line, beginning with Philip VI, and this line reigned from 1328 to around 1498. So, 170 years, not too bad, direct line. The second one was the Valois Orleans branch, pardon my French, which was only really one member. Sorry, it's not a line. It's just one person called Louis the 12th, who reigned from 1498 to 1515, and then he was a son of Charles, Duke of Orleans, or I don't know how to pronounce that. Orleans, anyway, who was a descendant of King Charles V. And the third one is the Valois Angoulême branch, which officially started with Francis I, son of Charles, Count of Angoulême, who was another descendant of Charles V. And it reigned from 1515 to 1574, and was eventually succeeded by the Bourbon dynasty, another branch of the Capetians. Anyway, the first kings of the Valois dynasty were mainly preoccupied with fighting the Hundred Years' War against England. It broke out under Philip VI, who started reigning in 1328, and his reign ended in 1350. Well, during this period, the monarchy wasn't only threatened by the English, although it mainly was, who did control at some certain times quite a large part of France, but also by the revived strength of some feudal lords. This included the Armagnac and the Burgundian factions. These, challenged the supremacy of the kings. For example, Charles the Seventh, who reigned from 1422 to 1461. He met these threats and began the task of restoring royal power. I think it was Charles VI in the 100 Years' War that did the negotiations with Henry V of England to give Henry V the throne of France after he died, rather than his son Charles. Henry died before. I think Henry died before Charles VI died, and when Charles VI died, the throne went on to Charles VII, and it's the guy who he met these threats to royal power, and he restored it essentially. Well, the Valois kings gradually increased their power and their authority at the expense of the privileges of these feudal lords. While the crown had exclusive rights to levy taxes and to wage war. This was established, and so, well, they began to develop many basic administrative functions and institutions that began to, these had started really in the Capetians, but they really began to take shape under the Valois. For example, the parliaments, the courts, were extended throughout France during this period, and they dispensed royal justice. Their strong position in France enabled three of the Valois kings, Charles VIII, who reigned from 1483 to 1498, who is kind of involved with Henry VII of England and with the rebellions there. So if you're interested in this period of English history, Charles VIII is a name to note. Then Louis XII, who reigned from 1498 to 1515, also significant in English history, because that's Henry VII and a bit of Henry VIII. And then Francis I, who reigned from 1515 to 1547, that is entirely Henry VIII in England. And Francis I is actually really significant because of the French Wars. Anyway, these parliaments, I got off track there, allowed these kings to essentially undertake the unsuccessful Italian wars of the late 15th and 16th century. This especially is the case with Francis, who had a few wars with Spain, and in Italy, well, that was a whole other case. Well, these wars, like I said, they marked the start of the rivalry with the Habsburgs, which was the ruling house of the Holy Roman Empire. There's a lot of rivalry, especially between Francis I and Charles of Habsburg. He was the Holy Roman Emperor from 1519, if I'm not mistaken. And, well, there was this war, and actually Charles ended up imprisoning Francis in Madrid, then releasing him, and they allied together, and yeah. Well, this rivalry lasted right until the end of the French dynasty. And I'm pretty sure that the dynasty that succeeded the Valois, the Bourbons, is like the members of the Spanish royal family ruling right now are part of this. They're like, the name in Spanish is Los Borbones, and I think it's the same one. I'm not 100% sure, so don't hold me to that, but yes. And, well, the French Renaissance actually occurred during the reigns of Francis I and Henry II, who ruled from 1547 to 1559. And the wars of religion, who occurred from 1562 to 1598, weakened the power of the last Valois kings. Because, Roman Catholic military factions as well as Protestant factions dominated politics. So, notable kings in a row, you want to put a line through it. We'll have Charles VIII going from 1483 to 1498, Louis XII from 1498 to 1515, Francis I from 1515 to 1547, then Henry II from 1547 to 1559, and then you have Francis II, who goes from 1559 to 1560, and then you have Charles, and then another Henry. But I don't know the years for that. And yeah, the Valois Dynasty is one of the most powerful, most longer reigning dynasties of Europe. And they were actually really powerful in France. The Renaissance occurred during this period. And they are the dynasty that reigned up until I forgot the year, 1589. Just 200 years before the French Revolution took place. So obviously the Valois weren't the ruling family at the time. I think I forgot the name. The symbol of the Valois, the symbol is really, really notable, and it is kind of used by other monarchs. I've seen it in paintings of, say, Louis XVI, the king from the French Revolution, and yeah, this crest, the family crest. That's the name. Well, yeah, it's one of the most prominent and well-known royal families during this modern medieval period, mainly modern. And yeah, it's really significant royal family, royal dynasty, stemming from I forgot the name. Yeah, the Confucians. And then it's being succeeded by the Bourbons. Really at the same time as notable families like the Habsburgs in Spain, the Tudors and Stuarts in England. No, it ended in 1589. No, not Stuarts, just Tudors. And prior to the Tudors, it was the Yorkists. The Wars of the Roses in England were occurring at the time, right when this was starting. And yeah, that is the Valois in France. So yeah, thank you for watching. Bye.